Hi guys, my name is David Voorny, aka Voorny, and today I'll be doing a review on the MSI Geforce GTX 1080Ti graphics card. Now, before I begin, a big shout out to the Kit Guru guys for giving me the opportunity to win this amazing graphics card in a competition. And in return, I said I'll be doing a video review. So here it is, let's crack on with the review. So I'm gonna break this review down into two parts. One, how does the graphics card look aesthetically? And two, how does it run? As an average gamer, they're the only two main things I'm concerned about. If you wanna check out fan speeds and clock speeds and a review like that, check out a more in-depth review because they're all over YouTube. Probably switch this one off now if you're not bothered about that. I will be comparing this graphics card to my old graphics card, the GeForce GTX 1060, the gigabyte version. Obviously this is an MSI version, this is a gigabyte version, and I'll be comparing the two together and see how they run. Now, I don't have any of these fancy test benches that you see online as tech tips or anything like that, but what I do have is I have a rig that I built, I should note, specifically for video editing and not for gaming. But it still does run games really well. So let's start with the processor. I have a Ryzen 7 1700, 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance RAM, and of course, thanks to Kit Guru, my brand spanking new GeForce 1080Ti graphics cards. And to power this whole thing, an EVGA Supernova 650 watt G2 power supply. Okay, let's start with how these bad boys look. So let's start with the 1060. The 1060 looks like it has a more simplistic design compared to the 1080. I do like the sleek twin fan design with the orange stripes running through the card itself. The 1060 has a dual DVI setup, that's one more than the 1080. And moving on to the back, nothing fancy, just a matte gloss finish with a Gigabyte logo. Nothing really much more to say about that. Okay, let's move over to the 1080. Now, at first glance, in my opinion, the 1080 is a much better looking graphics card than the 1060. One thing to note about the 1080 is that they brought back the DVI port from the Founders Edition, which is great. Looking at the front end of the card, it has this neat dragon logo on the two fans, which looks very cool. I also love the red and the black colour scheme. Going around to the back of the card, it has another cool looking dragon logo also. Out of the two, the 1080 is much bigger than the 1060. Put it this way, this is you, and this is the person he tells you not to worry about, with fucking dragon tattoos. Lastly, the MSI logo on the side of the card lights up, which is very aesthetically pleasing. Okay, that's enough about how they look. Let's move over to my test bench to see how these bad boys perform on the most graphically demanding game of 2017. Yeah. Okay, alright. So the most graphically demanding game of 2017. You join me here on my test bench. Move that. Let's do this. You know it. I know it. It's Euro Truck Simulator 2. Let's do this. Okay. Jokes aside, I did run these through some graphically demanding games. Now, one thing to note about that, I ramped all the settings up to max, and my Ryzen 7 will obviously not perform as well as an i7 processor, so just bear that in mind when I'm giving you these figures. Okay, so let's start off with a game that everyone's playing at the moment, myself included, and that's PUBG. For anybody who doesn't know the acronym, that's Players Unknown Battleground. Okay, so the 1060, the average frame rate was 49 frames a second, the minimum being 26, and the maximum pushing all the way up to 57. Now, with the 1080, the average was 62 FPS, the minimum being 40, and the maximum pushing all the way up to 90. And I have to say, after playing this game for a lot of hours on the 1060, then jumping over to the 1080, I did see a massive improvement on graphics. It just looked better, it looked cleaner, and obviously the results speak for themselves. You get more FPS out of the 1080. Okay, let's move on to another graphically demanding game, which was GTA 5. GTA 5 has its own test bench, so what I did was I just ran the test bench through both the 1060 and the 1080, obviously ramped up to max settings. The 1060, the average frame rate came out at 60 frames a second, the minimum being 58 and the max pushing up to 62. The 1080 averaging a whopping 105 FPS with the minimum being 67 and the max being 148. So in those two tests you can definitely see an improvement there. Now with GTA 5 I did play it a lot on the 1060, and when I moved up to the 1080 I noticed a massive improvement again. It just looks a lot cleaner, a lot sharper, and I just think the 1080 handles GTA just a lot better. So yeah, nothing really much more to say about that. I think the results again speak for themselves. Okay, moving on to a game now which I haven't played at all, but I know is graphically intensive because I've read it on a forum. Which is Witcher 3. Now with The Witcher 3, the 1060 averaging out about 38 frames a second, with the minimum being 25 and the max being 46. Whereas the 1080, the average frames a second was 59, the minimum being 42 and the max being 82. So again, a massive improvement in performance on my rig. Like I said, I haven't played Witcher 3 before this review, so I just ran through the start area on both cards and took an average FPS from there. So moving on now to VR. So for the VR, I just downloaded the Steam Performance Test app that you can find on the Steam store, just to run these bad boys through that. With the 1060, the results were in the green, so it is VR ready, like it does state on the box. With the overall quality being high, scoring a average quality score of 6.5, which is good, really good. And I've actually gamed on the 1060 a lot with the HTC Vive, and it performs really well. Okay, so moving on to the 1080 results. The 1080 absolutely smashing the test, flatlining it constantly in the green, with an average quality score of 11, and that's just very high. So both cards running really well, but the 1080 smashing it. I have to say I've gained a little bit with the 1080 on the HTC Vive, and it performs really well. Noticeable difference between the two. Just in frames, it's a lot smoother. Yeah, definitely would recommend both cards though for VR. So to round this review up, would I upgrade from the 1060 to the 1080 if I didn't win this card in a competition? I would have to say yes, I would. The 1080 is just all round better. I mean, I know it has a hefty price tag, but if you do have the money and you can afford the upgrade, even on my machine, I would say it's definitely worth it. Now, I know my machine has a Ryzen 7 and it wasn't purposely built for gaming, but it still performs really, really well. So if you do have this rig, exact setup with the 1060, and you want to move over to the 1080 Ti, I'll definitely recommend that. So I'm going to wrap this review up now, guys. Just another quick, amazing thank you to the Kit Guru guys for giving me the chance to win this amazing graphics card. And I'll link their Facebook page and website down below, and also I'll link all the programs we use to do the benchmark testings, my website. Give me a cheeky subscribe, give me a like if you like this video. If you didn't, see you later. This is David Voorny, aka Voorny, signing off. Peace!